Okay, so let's start for the today's newspaper. Can you all see the screen? I'm sharing you the screen for the today's newspaper. Just wait. Okay, is it visible to all of you now? Can you all see the newspaper?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So the Supreme Court judgment regarding the crisis in Rajasthan says that the court says will hear the matter of jurisdiction. Supreme Court refuses to stay on time given to rebel MLS and ask and dissent be shut down like this. So that is what is explained here. So we have seen that Supreme Court had been given some time to the member of legislative assemblies, which has been given by the High Court, and we have seen that yesterday one of the speaker of the Rajasthan speaker CP Joshi has given in his submission into the court that at this stage the judiciary cannot intervene. So on speaker's plea against High Court direction, court says these are elected MLAs. So that is what is explained here, that he asking if dissenting voices were being shut down. The Supreme Court Thursday refused to stay the relief given till Friday to rebel Rajasthan Congress MLAs to reply to the disqualification notices issued to them. So Rajasthan Speaker CP Joshi had moved the Supreme Court against the High Court order asking him to give the rebel MLAs till July 24 to reply the notices. While declining Joshi's appeal for a stay, the court adjourned hearing on the question of jurisdiction raised by him till July 27. Joshi has contended that courts cannot interfere in disqualification matters before the speaker has taken a final decision. So you have to go and check it out. I have yesterday also asked you to go and check it out. What is anti-defection law? What are the rules and provisions related to anti-defection law? You have to go and check it out. What is anti-defection law and why the speaker of the Rajasthan CP Joshi was saying that the Supreme Court do not have a cannot intervene at this stage because the decision related to the disqualification should be taken by the speaker as per the anti-defection law. So as the High Court has already heard the matter after prolonged arguments and reserved the order, we are not saying the passing of the order. However, whatever order is passed shall be ultimately subject to the outcome of this petition, the Supreme Court said. So remaining news, you can read it out. So assembly session soon, we have a majority, says Gehlot. Gehlot is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. She says that we are going to call the assembly session soon. And he says that he has a majority. So there is no need of what you can say resignation, or there is no need of worry. That's what he's saying. So we'll welcome pilot if decides to again response what you can say the faith in Congress. That is what is explained here. Okay, so right hand side, Chinese dig in at Pongso and Gogra. India says more talk soon. So Chinese side, they are trying to what you can say dig some of the what you can say the trenches at the border. So as we have seen that the negotiations were going on between India and China on the LAC, but in spite of that, India's reservations about not having any buildings or any infrastructure on the line of actual control, China's continued digging at the Huangzhou Lake and Gogra region. India says we will have more talk soon. So disengagement have been stalled and diplomatic and military talks to break logjam. So again, a logjam has created between India and China, and both of them are trying to what you can say what you can say they are trying to break this logjam by diplomatic and military talks. That is what is explained here. With Chinese troops reluctant to step back further from Pongongsu and patrolling point 17A at Gogra, 2 of 4 friction points along with line of actual control in Ladakh. A top source in the army said Thursday that corps commander of the two sides could meet again next week to break the logjam over the disengagement troops. So here you can see that the tension between India and China on the line of actual control is not completely what you can say solved. The issues are still there and the problem is going to be there. Fine. So here we can see we can go down. Government tightens bidding regulations for border countries. Read China. That is what is explained here. Border countries means it is especially only for China. That is mentioned in bracket. So you have to read this article that what government is trying to what you can say regulate for the trade regulations as well as the investment regulations and investment policy that has been explained here. more filters in place, that is explained at the right hand side. The latest mandating registration and security clearance for bidders of countries sharing land borders with India in public procurement tenders will effectively put in place more filters for entities from China. The restriction follow a series of steps taken in recent months to prevent the influx of Chinese products and investment in India. Can anybody tell me why India cannot specifically mention China in its policy? Why it is mentioning only border countries, but our target is China? Why India cannot mention the name of a country, China, in its guidelines or in its regulations? Yes, can anybody tell me why India cannot, what you can say, specifically mention the name of China here?
Then it'll be like targeting one single country.
So what is the harm in targeting one single country?
For international relations, सर उनके बीच में जो international relations होते हैं उनको
वैसे भी तो इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन खराब होगा ही ना, चाइना को भी पता चल जाएगा ना कि दिस व्हाट यू कैन से रेगुलेशंस हैव बीन क्रिएटेड स्पेसिफिकली टू टारगेट चाइना, बट उसके बावजूद भी तो इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस खराब हो सकते हैं. Why China's name has not been specifically mentioned? Because of the agreement which India signed in WTO, right? World Trade Organizations. We know that in WTO, World Trade Organizations, the countries cannot have such preferential treatment, or they cannot have a differential treatment among the countries. Right? So we know that the maximum materials or maximum goods which are coming to India are from China. So obviously it is going to impact only on the China, and it is not going to impact on the other neighboring countries of India. That is why without mentioning specifically name of China, India is trying to, what you can see, oblige the international treaty which it has signed at the WTO, where it is mentioned that the government cannot, what you can say, specific treatment cannot be given to one particular country in terms of trade and in terms of investment. So that is why, as a part of that international treaty, India cannot mention the name of China in its regulations and in its, what you can say, the policies. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, going to the editorial page, today's editorial. So let's discuss the today's editorial. Okay, worldly wise, there is a statement given which says that the historian without his facts is rootless and futile. The facts without their historian and dead and without historian are dead and meaningless. It's a very good statement which you can take it and you can use it for your what you can say, the essay topics. But anyway, seize the deal. That is what is mentioned here at today's editorial with the USA. We have seen that yesterday our honorable Prime Minister had a interaction with the US investors in that is there was one summit called India Idea, what you can say, summit. So India must move forward on trade agreement with US, because we know there are certain contentious issues, there are certain, what we can say, the problematic areas between India and US relations, especially in the trade agreements. So India must move forward on trade agreement with US while negotiating degrees of access, addressing the structural issues of the country. That is what is explained here, because we know that to counter the countries like China, which is trying to hegemonize and which is trying to, what you can say, bully India by with strong power, it can only be possible with the help of US. So US can help us in, what you can say, countering the China's, what you can say, the dominance in the Asian region. But again, we know that there are some contentious issues between India and US as well, especially in the trade agreements as well as in the visa issues are also there. So India must move forward to trade, what you can say, to move forward in the trade agreements with the US while negotiating degrees of the access and addressing the structural issue. That is what is explained here. So on Tuesday, Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal announced that India and the US were close to finalizing a quick trade deal. We have seen that in yesterday's newspaper, there was a news related to this particular issue, which was a statement was given by Piyush Goyal that both India and the US were close to finalizing a quick trade deal. This limited deal, unlike a more comprehensive free trade agreement, is likely to cover around 50 to 100 goods and services. Discussions between the two countries have reportedly revolved around providing concession to US farm products. We know that one of the important contentious issue between India and US is that India do not give access to the US agricultural products in India. America has always criticized India for not giving agricultural market access at the equal level. So because India provides a lot of subsidies, a lot of what you can say the indirect and direct subsidies, and indirect and direct what you can say the assistance to the farmers in India, which makes it very difficult for the American farmers to sell their produce in India. So that is what is mentioned here, that the discussions between the two countries have reportedly revolved around providing concessions to US farm products, dairy in particular, and on pricing of medical products such as stents, in return to the restoration of benefits extended to India under the generalized system of preferences. So India has been what you can say given a status of as a generalized system of preferences by the US. So US want what you can say the India should also give the reciprocal access to the market of the products of the pharma products in India, especially the dairy products, and market access for generic drugs for the market access for generic drugs. We know that we also know that India is one of the largest producer of the generic drugs. So India sells its generic drugs in America. So America also puts some restrictions on India's generic drugs, while India also puts some restrictions on its dairy products. That is what is mentioned here. So for the US President Donald Trump, a deal that provides American agricultural products with greater access to the Indian market and is concluded before November could bring benefits in the presidential elections, because if they sign this agreement, then obviously it will give more what we can say the benefit to the American president in its election. For India, a trade deal, even though limited, if concluded, is a welcome sign, as it signals a reversal of the protectionist impulses emanating from the government. So we know that the government has a protectionist impulses, especially when government has decided to go for Atmanirbhar Bharat. So when Atmanirbhar Bharat, what scheme was declared by the government of India, many economists have criticized the government because it was a backward-looking decision. That was what I can say mentioned. It was an protectionist what I can say the impulses. So, however, it must be mindful of not offering too many expectations in order to secure the pact. Market access should be granted strategically, securing owns one benefit. So when we are giving market access to the American products in India, we need to make sure that our own benefits, our own what we can say the security, internal security, as well as what we can say the security of the farmers, security of the retail, security of the milk producers in India, that should be also taken into consideration before making any such what we can say the pact. That is what is mentioned here. So moving from a limited agreement towards a comprehensive free trade agreement will prove to be a far more tricky proposition. The US is likely to push for greater access for its agricultural and dairy products in India that will be prepared to offer. This was also a major sticking point in the RCEP. Do you know that recently India has come out of the RCEP, that is the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, for the same reason, because in that RCEP negotiation, the countries in the Southeast Asian nations, they were getting access to the Indian dairy products. They were getting access to the Indian dairy what you can say the market. So for the same reason, India has opted out of that RCEP. So other thorny issues are likely to include intellectual property rights and digital taxation. So all the contentious issues between India and China that has been India is US has been excellent here. So I have asked you to make a note that while making the notes in bilateral relations, India-US relations or India-China relations, I told you that your note should be having 2 points. One is that on which points the India and US is an agreement, and in which point India is US is not in agreement, right? That you have to do it for all the what you can say the bilateral relations, whether it is India, China, India, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, India, US, India, Russia, India, Britain, India, what you can say the Japan. You have to do this. So here you will be get some points that on in which particular topics, in which particular issues, there are contentions, there are thorny issues between India and what you can say the US, right? So two things above is mentioned. One is the agricultural market access, dairy product market access, as well as what you can say the medical products such as stains, and these are the contentious issues. Here also it is mentioned about that there are some thorny issues like are likely to include, that is one is intellectual property rights issues and digital taxation. So digital taxation issues that because we've that India has what we can see imposed some taxes on the American companies which were advertising in India. These were famously called as Google tax. So that was also a contentious issue between India and USA. So these are the funny issues. So you can get some points. You can write in the bullet point that these are the contentious issues between India and USA. On its part, the Indian government needs to develop a clear and coherent strategy on free trade agreements because India do not have a coherent strategy in the what you can say in the trade agreements. With some countries, we have different strategy. We have some strategy with some other countries. In RCEP, we are trying to opt out of the what you can say RCEP due to the market access of the medical or the dairy products. But with US, we are having the same kind of what we can say the agreement. So we need to have a coherent strategy. Coherent strategy, matlab, there is continuously dilly-dallying in the policies of the government which lead to free trade. In the past, it has vacillated in its approach. While arguing for greater trade and integration with the global economy, it has walked out of the RCEP and called for reviving the previously signed FTAs, that is free trade agreement, based on the notion that the country has not benefited from them. That is, India has not benefited anything from the free trade agreements. And though a study by Niti Aayog has shown how Indian exporters had not gained from the trade agreements, according to the expectation, others have shown that much of India's trade deficit stems from the import of raw materials, intermediate and capital goods, and not consumer goods. So that is what is explained here. So what is the problem related to the trade issue? That is also explained here. What is the explanation of the Niti Aayog? That is also explained here. So the trade agreements, as per the Niti Aayog, the trade agreement has not benefited India. In fact, when India has entered into the trade agreement with some of the countries, it has led to more trade deficit with India. So signals emanating from the government in the recent past, the decision to put out of RCEP, that is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, as well as the hikes in import duties have suggested it is veering away from free trade towards a more inward looking protectionist stance. So recent some of the initiatives of the government like coming out of the RCEP, then increasing the import duties and also declaring the Atmanirbhar Bharat, what you can say the package and Atmanirbhar policy, it showed that India is moving more towards a inward looking, a protectionist stance. This approach needs to be reconsidered. The benefits stemming from the free trade are indisputable, while the degrees of access and protection should be aggressively negotiated. The bottom line is that the free trade is good. At the same time, the government needs to focus on addressing the structural issues that continues to plague the country's export competitiveness. We know that there are some structural issues of the Indian economy. So government should focus more on those plaguing out of those structural issues. In the current global environment, the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and the increasing US-China altercation provides an opportunity for reconfiguring the trade relations. While China continues to be central to global supply chains, and any readjustment will be time consuming and costly affair in the short run. India must seize this moment. So this COVID-19 situation, this pandemic situation should be what you can say seized by the Indian government to have more such free trade agreement with other countries as well. Not only the US, but we should also try to have such what we can say the such what we can say the agreement with the other countries, because it is mentioned that the free trade benefits to all. That is what is mentioned here. So rather than having a narrow-mindedness, rather than having a protectionist policies, we should allow, we should go for more free trade agreement. But again, obviously with more what you can say benefit for the India, more negotiation, more such trade agreement should be signed, which should benefit the Indian what you can say which should also protect the interest of the domestic manufacturer as well as the domestic farmers, as well as what you can say the domestic entrepreneurs and the domestic businessman. That's what should be the line of your what you can say the thinking while writing the answer in the UPSC exam. Got it? Any doubts about this? Any doubts about the today's editorial?
So what are the problems in free trade agreements?
Free trade agreements problem means what will happen? Suppose if we give access to the American farmers to sell their produce in India, What will be the problem? That the input cost for the American farmer in America is less, while the input cost is very high in India for the Indian farmers, right? So for example, suppose Indian farmers input cost for producing 1 quintal of wheat will be around 2500, while the input cost in America, that is around 1000 rupees only. So there are again various reasons why the input cost is high in India, why the input cost is low in America. There are various reasons found. That one important reason is that lack of technology, lack of what you can say the hybrid varieties, lack of what you can say the extensive farming which is there in India. So there are various reasons in India where the input cost for the Indian farmers is very high, while the input cost for the American farmers is very low. So suppose if you allow the American farmers to sell their agricultural produce in India, then obviously they will sell their wheat in India in 1500 rupees per quintal, while the Indian farmers input cost is 2500 rupees. So obviously people will buy the wheat of the American farmers rather than buying the Indian farmers. So because of the lack of what you can say, the lack of the competitiveness of the Indian businessmen, Indian farmers, Indian what you can say the entrepreneurs to fight with the international company. Like for example, there was an Indian company called Flipkart, which was started by Indian, that e-commerce portal, right? But when the Amazon was allowed to come in e-commerce portal, then obviously the Amazon has taken over the Flipkart now. Why? Because Amazon is a very large company. Amazon is a multinational company. They have a lot of capital. They have a lot of what you can say the skills. They have a lot of experience. So it may lead to having an adverse effect or adverse impact on the domestic businessman, domestic manufacturer, and domestic what you can say the entrepreneurs. Got it? Because when the American market, American businessmen will be allowed to what you can say, they will be given a market access in India, then obviously it will impact on the Indian what you can say the interest of the Indian businessman. Got it? So there are some issues related to whether we should allow the farm, whether we should allow the American companies to operate in India or not. Right? So many left parties, that is the communist parties, are in favor that we shouldn't allow any capitalist economy to come in India, so capitalist country to come in India and operate in India, because whenever the capitalist companies come in India, they do not work for the welfare of the people, they do not work for the socialistic approach, they work for the capitalist approach. Got it?
Yes.
So that is what is the problem. So the problems are more. I will discuss in detail while we're discussing with you in the mains exam. But to understand this article, you need to know the background, that why we should not, what you can say, allow completely a free trade agreement with the developed nations. Got it? So there is a difference of technological capabilities of the American company and Indian company. There is a difference of the technological, what you can say, the access which the American farmers have and the Indians have. So obviously the production cost will be very high for them. So Indian farmers cannot be competitive enough to fight with the American, what you can say, the products in India, right? Same thing is happening with the China. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Check. Any doubts again, Ritika?
No, sir.
Check it. Check. Going to the next article, the bottom article, watch it. With fans like an insistent hostage taker in Ukraine, no one can afford to ignore documentaries anymore. Okay, I think it is not, it's a very bottom article. We'll go to the above article. Yes, yes. There are only two articles here, right? So you have to just cut the first article and you have to put it in your India-US relations topic. Fine. So you have to cut that article. If you do not have the hard copies, take a screenshot of it and put it in your India-US relations topic. So what are the contentious issues between India and US that you will come to know after reading this article? So one more article written at the editorial page. One second. Time to be less afraid. Written by Milind Joshi. Result of Servo prevalence survey offer hope. Next phase needs to less fear, better governance. Okay, this is not related to our syllabus, so leave this article. No need of reading this article. Going to the next page, that is ideas page. Peace and disorders. Governor interlocutors R.N. Ravi's strong criticism of rebel groups he was negotiating with in Nagaland is that another pointer. Peace accords in Northeast seas require more decoding than we have been inclined to do so. Anyway, this article is related to the peace negotiations which are going on between Indian government and the rebel organization in the northeastern states, especially in the Nagaland. So we have seen that recently there were some articles related to the dispute going on between the Indian government as well as the Nagaland's, what we can say, the militant organizations, and the comment of the Nagaland's governor Aryan Ravis on the issue related to the militant organizations and the peace negotiation. So this article you will add to paper 3 topic, that is India's internal security challenges. So militancy in northeastern states are again one of the important internal security challenge. So you will come to know by reading this article what is the issue in the northeastern states and why the peace accords which are being signed in the northeastern states require more decoding than we have been inclined to do. That is what is written. So article is written by Sanjeev Barua, who is one of the famous writer from the Assam. So you need to, what you can say, read this article. Now, no need of reading it right now, but just take a screenshot of it and take it, put it in paper 3 topic, internal security challenge. Fine. So right hand side, there is one article written, we can say about the India's civilization. So Rajad's time, remembering the artist who was grateful here to plurality, richness, and depth of Indian civilization. So the article is written about the Sayyid Haider Raza, I guess, who has died recently. So just it's a tribute to the artist. So if you are interested in such type of things, you can read it out. Otherwise, you can skip this article. So in today's explain page, there is an article related to how to maintain the troops of LAC, that is explained here. The army is preparing for extra provisions for additional troops who have been moved to the LAC amid the standoffs with the Chinese. What does it take to keep a soldier battle fit in such harsh condition? That is explained here. How the military works in such type of situation, that is all explained here. We can just read it out. How pay hike in banks will be rolled out, so that is explained here. The bank organizations, the employees associations, they were demanding to increase the salaries by 15%. So how this pay hike in the banks will be rolled out, that is explained here. Can anybody tell me the increase in the or the hike in the pays of the banks, will it leads to more inflation or will it leads to what you can say the less inflation? Is it a good move to increase the salaries of the government employees or whether it is bank employees? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Checking. How corona of the virus changes into a hairpin shape and why, that is explained here. So there were some research developments, or there is some research, what you can say the findings that the virus changes into a hairpin shape, that is explained here. So how and why it changes the shape, that is what is explained here. Right? Hello? Hello, Suru Bartin on 2 minutes. Lecture to sorry. Okay, going to the next page, that is today's economics page. Hello? Na office ni nearly.
Yes, sir.
Ba nini ba hogan Allah.
So the bank salaries, can you discuss, like, will it lead to inflation or not?
Yeah, it will lead to inflation. It is not that will not impact, but yes, not only bank salaries will not impact, but overall increase in the salaries of the government employee, increase in the government expenditure without increasing the production of the goods and service will lead to what we can say the inflation, because when the more money will be infused into the economy, obviously it will lead to more demand, and that more demand without any what you can say increase in the production would lead to inflation, would lead to what you can say rise in the prices of the commodities and services. Fine. Check it.
Yes, sir.
So economy, no direct monetization plan yet. Department of External Affairs Secretary. Sorry, it is not External Affairs. It is Economic Affairs Secretary. So we are seeing that in last 4-5 days there is a discussion, there is a buzzword that is the government is trying to monetize the gap of the revenue and expenditure by what you can say by issuing the government securities and bond. So Department of Economic Affairs Secretary is saying that there is no what you can say direct monetization plan yet. Economy to recover sharply next year, V-shaped bounce back is required. So what is this V-shaped bounce back of the economic growth that you need to check it out? What happens in the V-shaped bang down? The economic growth rapidly decreases and rapidly rises. So that is what is called as the V-shaped bounce back of the Indian economy. So since we are expecting the V-shaped bounce back, we are not yet planning the direct monetization of the that is what is explained here. Again here direct monetization again leads to more inflation, Ritika, right? Because direct monetization means direct monetization do not leads to the inflation. I'm sorry. Actually it absorbs the liquidity which is there in the economy. But anyways, what is monetization that is explained here? Monetization simply means that RBI directly funds the central government's deficit. Until 1997, the government used to sell securities and ad hoc treasury bills directly to the RBI and not to financial market participants. Okay, so we will discuss about this. What is monetization, direct monetization, that is deficit financing, and how this deficit financing will impact on the economy, that we will discuss here. We will discuss this sometime again, but that you have to read this article. Those who have already completed the government budget topic, they might be in a better position to understand this topic. So you have to read this topic. And then going to the next. Okay, so this is all for the today's newspaper. We are left with 1 minute. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Other articles are not that much important. This is the only article which is useful for you for the UPSC point of view. Okay, remaining
Sir.
article you can read it by yourself. Yes, Zain. Please be quick.
सर नागा कम्युनिटी के जो नेगोशिएशंस है वैसे नेगोशिएशंस हम नक्सल के साथ और कश्मीरी मिलिटेंट्स के साथ भी कर सकते हैं ना?
कर सकते हैं. जब कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट थी, जब यूपीए गवर्नमेंट था, देयर वेर अटेम्प्ट्स बाय द कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट एज वेल एज बाय द यूपीए गवर्नमेंट टू हैव अ डायलॉग एंड डिस्कशंस विद द कश्मीरी मिलिटेंट्स एज वेल एज द नक्सलाइट्स. So it depends on the policy of the government of the day, whether they want to have a discussion with them or they want to have a clash with them, right? When P. Chidambaram was the Home Minister of India, he tried to have what you can say negotiation with the Naxalites in India. But one of the important conditions which was put forward by the P. Chidambaram at that time was that he demanded to abjure the violence before having a negotiation with the Naxalites. So yes, वो किया जा सकता है, but it is again the prerogative of the government whether to go with that or not. Fine, Zain?
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. चलिए, so we'll
सर आप सिटी में हैं अभी?
No, I'm not in city now. I'm at my village. So कुछ काम था, Zain?
सोच रहा था